morning to all market participants. Pound is on rise once again. There is now around 70% chance that Tories are going to win the December 12 election. This is, of course, fueling the pound higher, and it is because these sort of news on betting, let's say, that came out on the headlines, is taking some uncertainty away, because a win for Tories would mean that Brexit is going to get done. So we might see pounds actually moving to the upside, which is also supported by our technical view. The other pair I wanted to look for the day is the Aussie. Although, and despite we've had the positive news of trade war and we've seen new highs on the indices again, the Aussie seems to be muted. Actually is moving with a downside bias. And one would wonder why that is the case, since we have potentially a resolution in trade war before Christmas. Well, it's because everybody is waiting for Law's speech, which is in about 3-4 hours from now. And they are waiting for him because he's going to talk about quantitative easing. And any speech about quantitative easing is going to give very good insights about how the RBA is likely to move in the near future. So very, very critical for the exchange rates of the Aussie. Despite that, let's start with the pound, and then we're going to move to the Aussie analysis as well. So on the pound, I've been consistent with my view, to be honest, contrary to the euro. We're seeing this as a 1, 2, then wave 3, 4, and 5, right, in the intermediate term. Now, we've had waves 1, 2, 3 up here, and 4 minor, and we are waiting, expecting for wave 5 minor to complete, and that completion would be above the 1.30 hundreds or 200s or so. Anything actually that just even creates a small false break above the previous low. Okay, now over here for wave 4, it seems like we've had an A, B, C over here, yeah, and then it looks like a zigzag with a little bit of a truncated second part of the wave, which is the wave W, so that would be Y. And since then we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and an extended 5 up here, right? And then a correction, A, B, and C. Now, it could be the case because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? We could see a lower low, or the other scenario would be just we've had, this A, B, and C ending down here, and then we are likely to move up with waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to complete this minor degree fifth wave. Okay, now this of course could come in any form. It could be an impulsive move to the upside. It could be an impulsive move, let's just call it an ending triangle, something like that. And that would of course cause a little bit of a decline following that. The question now to ask yourselves, and the one I wonder of course as well, is whether we're going to see this wave 5 being completed by December 12. I have, and according to the insights and the headlines, I lean towards that we're going to see this wave 5 creating fresh highs before the December 12 as optimism around a Tory lead and a Tory win in the election is rising. Now, on Aussie, quickly as well, I've also been consistent with my view and I still support it. Let me just go on the 2 hours quickly just to have a better idea what I was expecting. We're expecting this been 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? So we've had the minor 1, 2, 3, and 4 completing, right? No, excuse me, 1, 2 completing. We are actually going lower for wave minor 3, okay? In the minute degree, we've had waves 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 was completed last week, and since then we started moving down. which potentially means that we are now going to see another impulsive move to the downside in the minute degree, okay, with waves 1 and 2 already been done, and seems like we're moving now lower for wave 3, okay. That is gonna end around the 67 cents. Then we should get a correction for wave 4 that is likely to be a triangle, okay, because wave 2 is quite sharp, and then wave 5, which is going to complete minor wave 3. For there, of course, we're looking at a correction and then continuation lower, if, of course, that keeps being the case, because at the end of the day, it's very hard to determine whether we have an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or an impulsive A, B, and C, okay? So we're still on wave 3, which means that could equally be an A, B, C instead of 1, 2, and 3, right? So we have to hold our breaths and see how this develops in the short term, because the short term is going to give us some insights as to whether we're going to get a rejection down at that level or not, and whether, of course, we're going to continue lower below this this top over here or not, okay? But in the medium term, I'm expecting actually that level to give in, okay, around 67, 64. If we could get a bit of a more complex pattern here, okay, because it seems like we're going for, this looks like a leading triangle over here with waves 1, then we should get 2, 3, 4, and 5 to complete that one, okay? So this is all for the day.